Hi friend, today we are going to be painting this super cute, whimsical, folk art inspired watercolor painting. The colors we are using is indigo, gray titanium, cadmium yellow, indigo, plus burnt sienna, cobalt, and cadmium red. So sit back and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Okay, we are gonna go ahead and do our mix for the sky. And for the sky, I want to do another night scene. So I'm gonna go ahead and I am gonna mix up some of my indigo. And we'll put a moon in afterwards. But we're going to go ahead and paint the sky. And then at this point, if you want, sometimes you might feel that it is easier to go ahead and turn it upside down. For me, I think today I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way. And I am once again using my Winsor & Newton watercolor. And I am going ahead and I am using my Etcher Everyday Sketchbook. Okay, and if we need to go back over this, we will. Because I think this, I'm going to want that a little bit darker, but we will see. So now we're going to go ahead and I want to start with the bottom. And we are going to do a gray mix. So there's different ways you can make gray. And I am going to show you a mix that you can do. Or I have gray titanium that I'm going to possibly try. But for those who don't, you can take some of your indigo. And then if you mix it with some either burnt sienna or burnt umber, taking some more of that indigo, or you can use ultramarine blue. Ultramarine blue probably would be a little easier because indigo is so strong. But if you mix, I'm going to go ahead and take some of that. You can get like a grayish color. And my voice is going in and out, so I'm not going to talk this whole time, but I will definitely let you know what I'm doing. And so you can do it that way, but I want to use this new gray titanium I got, so I am going to use that. Because I got it and I haven't had a chance to try it yet. And I wanted to. It's a little, it hasn't dried down yet at all. So I'm being very mindful of how much I'm using. And okay, and then I'm going to go ahead because I want to go ahead and I want to do a wet on wet. And I am so excited, you guys, on this one. I think it's going to be really whimsical. And of course, it's folk art inspired. But it is going to be super cute when it is done. Because you know, I am all about the cuteness. Okay. Now, the key for a wet on wet, for those who are beginners, is you want a relatively even, you know, you can see the gloss and you can kind of see that it's even. So I'm going to put the darker color on the bottom. And then we'll go lighter as we go up. And I am really liking this gray titanium. It looks almost like a warmer gray. And the difference between warm and cools, for those who don't know, warms are like fire. So your reds, your oranges, your yellows. Your cool is like water, common. So like your blues, your greens, purple. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and let this dry. But I want to put it still a little darker, like I said, on the bottom. So let's do that. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and let that dry. I think I want to put another coat on this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it and then speed it up. Okay, so now that that is done, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and make up our red mix. And I am going to go ahead and wipe this for now. I'm not trying to waste paint, but I should have done the blue on the other side, but I got it. But I needed a space for my red, so we're just going to go ahead and move that. And what I am going to do is, because I want this to be a brighter shade of red, I am going to go ahead and put a coat of yellow first, and then I will go over it in the red. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do, and we're going to use this is going to be mainly in cool colors today. However, the house is going to be the only warm. I just kind of want to offset the all the coolness. And then probably starting the next week, what I want to do is I want to do a series of these little whimsical folk art inspired paintings, but maybe throwing in some color mixing in with it. So I thought what I could do is I could pick a color from Sarah Renee Clark's Color Cube. Okay, and we're gonna let that dry. And go ahead and mix those colors and then do a painting with it. So I hope you guys are maybe interested in that. Let me know in the comments, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then, okay, I think this is dry enough. We can go ahead and paint this mountain. And I am going to use that gray titanium once again. But I almost want to take some, let's take some ultramarine blue. And then some burnt sienna. Because I want, and it's a warmer mix. It's almost kind of like the buff titanium, but a little darker. This way we can kind of mix those two. And I'm going to make sure everything's in frame. And I am recording. Okay. And we are good. So before I get started, I want to mark the colors that we're using. So we're using indigo. So we're going to put that down there. And we are using this titanium, gray titanium. So we're going to go ahead and put that underneath. That's such a pretty color. I am so glad I got it. And then so far I haven't used the one mix of the ultramarine blue and the burnt sienna. So I'm not going to mark it just in case we do not use it. But I'm going to go ahead and put it down our cadmium yellow. And the gray titanium is Danielle Smith. Everything else is Winsor & Newton. I don't know why. I guess I've been going back to my roots, because Winsor & Newton is actually the paint I started with between the Cotman, and then I went to the professionals. So I have a lot of paint and stuff. I just did a haul video. I will link it down below because it's the last one for the year. I am officially on a no-buy. So with that being said, we'll slowly use the supplies. But as of the watercolors, I got so many. We will slowly use those. But for the color mixing series, we are going to use... I might do a poll to find out if you guys want to use a student grade or if you want to use a professional. But for the actual series of the color mixing, I want to use the same watercolor so everybody has a chance to kind of follow along. I don't want to keep switching paint for that. But after that is fair game. So for color mixing and color theory, I honestly, like a beginner series type thing, I want to use the same watercolor. But besides from that, you'll eventually get to see, I don't know about oil, but exception of the oil, you'll eventually get to see all the supplies. Flowers will come in the future. If anybody's in a hurry for flowers, just let me know down below. And I will be very happy to oblige you. But for right now, everybody seems to be loving this whimsical folk art inspired painting. So that is, and I have been loving them too. So that's what we're going to go ahead and continue to work on. So this is another Wet on Wet. And I got a little bit too much water, but that's okay because I'm just going to spread it out. And to show the different layer, normally, just so you know guys too, normally you wouldn't want your sketch to be this dark. I'm leaving this dark, one, because I'm going to use darker colors, but two, so you guys can actually see the sketch if you guys want to follow along and paint. Outside of that, if you're doing this yourself, you do not want to have the sketch this dark. So that being said, we're going to continue on. And it's about midnight here, so in Ohio, when I'm doing this video. So I'm kind of tired. But sometimes with the birds and my activities, it's just easier to do this in the evening. And I was feeling really inspired. So I thought if I'm going to paint, I might as well get it recorded too. So I was working on an oil painting earlier, and I really like how it's turning out. So I will one day put it down in the community tab just so you can see it. And if you guys are ever interested in an oil painting, I'm not saying it's out. It just tends, if I jump from medium to medium to medium, the algorithm unfortunately does not like it very much. And I am trying to grow my channel. I enjoy painting so much, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. So right now we're to the point where we can probably work on our little birdies, because we need to let the other stuff dry, because after we do the birdies, then we can do the last mountain and then fill it in. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to go to a small detail type style brush. And I am going to use my Princeton Heritage size 2. And if we need to go smaller, I have a 2-0 here. Or a 2 of the Christy Rice's her brush set. And I love her brush set, especially that size 2. It is very, very sharp. Like, the point comes to a wonderful sharp point, and it works very well. So I think too, before we start the bird, I want to go ahead and get out our red, because we'll use that for the birds as well. But I want to go ahead and fill in our house, and then we'll do our birds. You guys, these videos have been kind of on the longer side, so I do apologize. But I like showing you guys the full process. Sorry, hopefully my head's not in the way. And adding this yellow underneath is going to keep this red nice and bright. Because red dulls down very quick. And I was watching Shelley Pryor's art. If you're not familiar with her, she is awesome. You should definitely look her up. She does a lot of realistic paintings. And I learned, sorry, I need to get my hand out of the painting, but I learned from her that to get your red brighter, you can put yellow underneath it. Not like a cool yellow, but a warmer yellow. And wow, is it making the difference. Things you kind of wish you would have known. And speaking of that, I will eventually be doing a video on things I wish I learned or known from the beginning when I first started watercolor. Okay, so we got our red. Now let's do our little brown. So I'm going to go ahead, because we want to keep to a somewhat limited palette. We're going to go ahead and use this brown for the little bird. And these are so tiny, so I am going to try my darndest to keep my head and my hand out of the way when I'm doing this, but I can't make no promises because it is ever so tiny. But I really, really love put in the birds in the picture. I'm trying to get a little bit braver with you guys and go ahead and put in that red directly in, because I kind of want it to blend in. That's a little too much, but we can go back over. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit more of this brown on the thicker side. So this is more like a cream consistency. We're going to fill in him or her. And it does not have to, I think we're going to take a pen to the feet. My hands are just too shaky. And for the beak, kind of make a little orangey color. Or actually, we can do a little bit of black for the beak. So, trying to take a very fine point, and if I am in the way, I apologize. Put in a little dab for the beak. Okay. And then do a little dab for the beak of this little black. Do that first. That one turned out a little bit better, guys. But anyway, it ain't perfect, but we're working in a sketchbook, and that's the whole point. And that's the good thing. You get that practice. I want to put a little bit more red on here. They don't have to be super detailed, but it's just kind of nice to have it on there. Okay, now going back to our brown. And you guys, if you think that, you know, if you need to use a smaller brush for more control, feel right ahead, because I almost did that myself. And then going in with a little darker. And I'm trying to get the red and the brown to mingle. There we go. Our little birdies on the snow. Okay. So now I'm using a lot of different brushes today, guys. I'm going to go ahead and use my size 6 long round of my Princeton Heritage. And now we're going to do... Actually, we're going to go back. We're not going to use that one yet. We have one last mountain, but it needs to dry. So I guess we are going to go back, and we're going to fill in these trees on this mountain. And I want to take some, we're going to do different shades of blue. So I'm going to take this cobalt blue and doing like a cream consistency. And the other reason I forgot to mention, sorry, but I wanted to been working on this paint is because I do want to use it up. I got so many palettes of Winsor and Newton that I need to stick with one and finish it, so then I can put it up, because I have way too many palettes going. Okay, so we're gonna do one in that color, and then I want to add a little bit of indigo to that cobalt. And then we're going to put that on this tree here. And we're not going to leave these trees plain. Oh no, we're going to give them a really cute magical touch. Okay. So there's that. And then I think we're gonna go ahead and add some ultramarine, or yeah, some of this burnt sienna to that mix. And doing like a bluish gray for this middle one. Oh, I like that. And by adding that red, well, it's like a reddish orange. It is opposite of the blue on the color wheel. Well, not really, but the orange is kind of opposite. If you look on the color wheel, blue, the orange is across from the blue. So when you add the burnt sienna, which is kind of like an orangey brown, it neutralizes it and turns it into like a gray. So we're gonna go ahead at this point, take a little break, and we're gonna let this dry, and then we're gonna come back, and we may need to put another coat onto this little house, because I want it to be like really dark. And then when we come back, we got to do the last mountain and then the trees, and then we'll go in and start putting in our little detail. So we will be back. Whoa. Okay, everything is now dried. So we are gonna go ahead and move on. And what we're gonna do, sorry, I had to fix my mic. We're gonna go on and we need to paint this last mountain. So once again, I want to take, oops, gotta clean our brush. That's another thing. You kind of always want to, before you begin and you take a break, make sure you double check to make sure you have a clean brush. So that is pretty important. So going ahead and taking some of this gray titanium. And I'm mixing it on the other side. I know you're not seeing it, but it's just straight that color. And we're going to begin, actually scratch that. Once again, we're going to begin with a wet on wet. Almost forgot. So just taking all clear water once again. Being mindful of the house, but the roof I'm not too worried about, because I'm going to end up going over it and with that pH Martin bleed proof white. You know, it's that Dr. pH Martin. I love that stuff. Not supposed to be that color, but that's okay, we can work with it. So we're just going around, and you can hear I'm losing my voice a little bit, but the show must go on, right? And so got that. Now we're gonna go ahead and take our gray titanium, and once again I want to leave it darker on the bottom. And if you guys are doing this on your own and following along, make sure, like I said, you go ahead and not have your lines as dark as mine, because you'll see them like you're seeing on mine. However, I wanted you guys to be able to see the sketch, so that's why mine is. But if you're doing your own, you definitely want to make sure that it's, you know, it's all faded out and it's not so dark. And then darker on the bottom, lighter on the top once again. Definitely want to put it darker on the bottom. It is going to hide some of my mark, but not all the way because this is a very light color, so that's okay. Anyway, we want to do it this way because it's really going to pop against that sky. So, okay. So we're going to head and we need that to dry. And there's a hair, but I have learned, however tempting it is, leave it alone. Okay, gotta fix that a little. So we're going to go ahead and let this dry, and then we'll come back and well, actually, we can go ahead and we don't even need to come back. We can go ahead and do our sky now. So I'm going to go ahead and once again take our P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. And I am going to take my stencil here that I really enjoy. So what I like to do is I like to play around with whatever size. And I think today I want a big impact. So I'm going to go ahead and let's do this one. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to fill this in. Just like so. And this is going to give us a perfect full moon. Almost perfect. My P.H. Martin was a little watered down, so that's okay. We'll just kind of fix it here. I guess I could move that out of the way. And then we're going to go back over that because I want it to be wider. And trying to be mindful. See, I always put my hand in like the wet paint, which is never good. So, and then my P.H. Martin, I had a little bit too much water in it, but that's okay. We're making it work. It's not an absolutely perfect circle, but it is close enough. Rinse that out. And then I am going to take my very fine tip brush of Christie's Rice's, and then I am going to go ahead and dab on some stars. And just putting them randomly. And if we need to go over our moon once again, once it dries, we will. And just kind of randomly putting them. Didn't mean to like drag that there, but that's okay. And I love using indigo for a night sky. I think it's so pretty. Okay. Yay. Ha. Yay. I was able to brush the hair. It was dry over here, but still wet over there, you can tell. It's kind of glossy and stuff, so we can go ahead and put the, oh, I want to go ahead and fill in the roof too, right here, because that will help get rid of that line. And just kind of going slow. Sorry, my arm's all in the way, but I needed to, here we go. And once more. Okay. So, I want to make sure that pencil line's gone as much as possible. Okay, there we go. That looks really nice. And then I want to add a little bit of detail while we're waiting for the rest of this to dry. So for these, on this one, we're just going to put some lines. And then on this one, we're gonna just put in some circles and stuff. And then on this one, just put little dots. Okay. And this should be dry. So I'm gonna take this darker color because I'm gonna cheat, and actually no I won't. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this ultramarine or indigo and burnt sienna, sorry. Not trying to confuse you guys. And we're gonna just go ahead and fill in our tree. And with a very careful hand, we're just gonna go ahead and follow our little pattern here. And I like to use a small detail type brush. So this Christy Rice brush, her number size, her number 2 round, sorry if my head's in the way, is perfect for this little detail. It really holds a point. And then this last one. And that looks so cute. See, I got a little bit on from my hand, but we might be able to work that out. And we did. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my size 6 long round. And I want to do the rest of the trees. So we're gonna go ahead and use like the same type of colors as we used the first time. So first I'm gonna begin with taking some cobalt blue, making sure my brush is wet enough. My paint's beginning to dry up, but I don't want to soak it. Anyway, going with cobalt blue for this one. Cobalt blue is such a pretty color. And I think it's almost like the perfect blue. Not too warm, not too cold. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and, since it's like the middle perfect blue, we're just going to go ahead and do that in the middle. Okay. And so now we're going to go ahead and take some of this burnt sienna to it. But making it more on the bluish, we want to make it more of a bluish gray. So kind of like that. And we'll go ahead and do this one bluish gray. And then for the last one, we're going to go ahead and mix some indigo in it and do the darkest. There we go. And then we're going to do this last one indigo as well. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and let that dry, and then we're going to add the last detail to the trees. Okay, so now I think it's dry enough that we can do the last minute detail of the trees. So I think we're going to go ahead and put dots on this one. And then just trying to give this the whimsical feel. Now, if you guys want, my uni pen is running out. I need to get a new gel pen, but you guys can use a gel pen, white acrylic paint, white gouache, whatever you have. You can use a black fine liner even if you didn't want to use white. But I like the white. I think it's adding a very nice touch. And so I think it's gonna, it's working well for me for what I wanted. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you guys have been here to the end, you really are a superstar, because I know these videos are longer. Like I said, if you guys are getting tired of these, let me know down in the comments below. And we can try something else. But for right now, I have been loving these. And like I said, by the end of the week or next, we are going to be starting that color matching series. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And then we will go from there. But as long as everybody's enjoying it, we're going to do these whimsical folk art for a while, because it's just kind of nice and relaxing. And one of my goals this year is truly to be happy. And I would suggest you guys do the same. Life's too short. And you guys, you know, just, we need to love one another. So, I think this needs one more coat. So we'll get that done. And so we'll wrap it up. So you guys, I hope you have a lot of fun painting this. If you are joining me, oh yeah, we needed this extra coat. And I look forward to the next video. Like I said, I will link my art haul video so you can see, like I had said. But I will quit talking here in a minute, and we'll do the big reveal of taking the tape off. But you guys, God bless, love one another, and I hope you guys have fun painting, and I will see you guys on the next video. So let's get ready to do the unveiling of the tape.